These meetings haven't changed for over 50 years. If it works, it's going to be a game changer for all future meetings.
I think we needed to have a logo, and we need to have the same logo annual meeting after annual meeting, or spring meeting after spring meeting.
It's very important because we, by definition, is owned by the 187 members. So a logo represents 187 countries. It's very important.
So it's very effective in the sense of trying to create inclusiveness of one community as opposed to the sense of fragmentation of the world.
The key challenge was really twofold. We concentrated most, if not all, of the meetings into HQ2, and the second compression factor was duration.
You open the meetings with a high impact event rather than doing it right at the end.
We worked very closely with staff and the Secretary's Department. On the one hand, meeting the objective of a streamlined plenary, but on the other hand, trying to ensure that the official business took place during the annual meetings to enable the governors to be able to make their speeches on the record.
I've been to this plenary for the past 20 years. First time I enjoyed the setting.
There's still a lot to do.
In terms of IMFC, the first thing is we make a table smaller. Because previously the table is too big.
It was essential that we create a physical structure where conversation is possible. The whole meeting is about discussing, it's about a conversation amongst the membership.
Well, everything was better. I think the shape of the table, which makes possible to see the people talking eyes in eyes, the light, the environment, the technology, and I got a lot of comments by members of the IMFC saying afterwards, really it has changed for the better.
This year is definitely unprecedented access and open access for the annual meetings.
What I do like about this one is the fact that it seems to just be a lot more open environment. It does give the feeling of a more open environment.
What's really important is being able to talk to participants and participants being able to talk to each other, kind of the corridor talk, if you will, and there was a lot of opportunity to have that corridor talk.
I looked at the paper and I thought the paper are good. So there are two explanations. One, the substance is better, or the facilities are better. You choose. I think both were better.
The meetings are going on 2 or 3 different levels. One is a universal meeting for all our membership, and then there are meetings in select groups on select topics that go over about a day or day and a half.
Rather than have the IMF World Bank be the reason for the gathering, but actually the most boring part of it, you have tried quite successfully to make the focal point be the annual meetings themselves. I learned a lot from the seminars this year. They were a real flagship for the two organisations to show, not just kind of bring together cutting edge thinking, policymakers, academics, officials from the IMF, but they're ways in which you can showcase your own research, but really bring together the best minds on the most topical issues.
3 years have passed since the onset of the global financial crisis, and significant progress has been made in stabilizing the system, repairing balance sheets, and strengthening policy frameworks.
That there is no mechanism currently to manage global liquidity, either in terms of lender of last resort or the reverse, like the current situation where there is ample liquidity. How to manage that situation is a question.
Over the last year or so, the main drivers of the recovery were inventory accumulation and fiscal stimulus. The first one is coming to a natural end, and the second one is being slowly phased out. So what has to happen is that consumption and investment must now take the lead.
If there is one aspect in the medium-term fiscal plans that countries have not yet specified is exactly this, what should be the final aim of the debt-to-GDP ratio?
I think one of the interesting things about this crisis, the challenge around jobs, especially for young people, is how much commonality there is between where advanced countries find themselves and where more fragile states just now coming out of a crisis and trying to build institutions also find themselves in terms of the challenge around finding jobs for young people.
There are positive gains, not just at the global level, some abstract global gain, but the countries themselves would be better off if they could follow a set of paths which were different but cooperative.
It's wonderful that such distinguished individuals from all the regions have first gotten together within the regions to discuss regional issues, and now, as a real innovation, have come to Washington to meet together with each other and with the managing director.
A number of you were also keen to hear, and we're very keen to hear from you all about cross-cutting themes.
You know, the IMF has fantastic convening power, and it has the intellectual capital to know what the right issues are and to get the right people talking about them.
To have this pulled together across departments that work together all the time, but it was a completely new level of intensity.
And when you're dealing with new technologies, you've got to test, you've got to try things out, and they squeezed all that into a very short time frame.
We need to look forward and thinking maybe how can we deliver more, but I would probably stress even more so how can we deliver that consistently over the next years.
This kind of things that change our institution into a 21st century institution.